Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce a good friend of mine to a lot of good friends here. Kay Hagan is a lifetime Tar Heel to the bone. Though she's lived in Greensboro with her family for the last 30 years, she goes back as a Southerner and as a Tar Heel all the way to the beginning. She and her husband, Chip, have raised 3 wonderful children in Guilford County in Greensboro. One has recently completed her PhD in geology and has gone to work for ExxonMobil in, is it Houston or Dallas? In Houston. One is in the MD PhD program at UNC. That's a 20-year program, I believe. And one is an executive at BB&T in Winston-Salem. I first came to know the senator in the state Senate. She served for 5 terms in the North Carolina Senate. Last night at dinner, Liz, my wife, said, "Kay, why did you run for the U.S. Senate?" And she very quickly said, "I wanted to bring North Carolina values and ideas to Washington." Just think where we would be in this country today if Washington, D.C. had the values of North Carolina and the ideas of Eastern North Carolina. Kay serves on 3 important committees in the Senate. The Senate Armed Services Committee, the Small Business and Entrepreneur, and the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. She is committed to all 3 of those, but the one that she is really another member to the bone is the Senate Armed Services Committee. She comes from a proud military family. Her father-in-law is a retired Major General in the Marine Corps. Her father, her husband, and her brother are Navy veterans. She has 2 nephews. One is a Navy SEAL today, and one is a fighter pilot, Marine Corps or Air Force? Air Force fighter pilot. She is committed to making sure that North Carolina is the friendliest state to the military in the United States, and all of us feel that way. And boy, over the last 5 years, we have really come to understand that. As a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, she has done many things to help our military. One of the most important things is she has helped with legislation, sponsored legislation, to take partisan politics out of the budget process for the Veterans Administration. That is an awfully important step. In addition, she and Senator Burr, who she works very closely with, Congressman Butterfield and Congressman Walter Jones, are responsible for the new VA outpatient hospital that's going to be built here in Greenville in the next 3 years. Without her leadership and her ability to cooperate with the other members of our delegation, that important 150,000 square foot facility would not be built here in Greenville in the next 3 years. In addition to that, 2 of her children are daughters, and one of her first legislative victories was the introduction and successful passage of the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. All of you are familiar with that. She's been a leader in many of the economic development issues in the Senate, not only in the state Senate, but in the U.S. Senate. She's going to tell you more about some of the job creation steps that she's taken and some of the things that we're doing in Washington, D.C. She got started in politics early. Her uncle was Lawton Chiles, the governor of Florida that all of us know, Tom, and was also a member of the U.S. Senate. And she started putting bumper strips on his car early in life. Kay Hagan is a special person. She has something called Conversations with Kay, where she goes throughout North Carolina and meets with constituents. Yesterday, she met with 3 different groups. I believe she was in Manteo, Edenton, and Elizabeth City. She wants to stay close to the people of North Carolina, and especially to Eastern North Carolina. Her office is open to you. Her staff is good, and she invites all of us to call on them to help whenever she can. Let me tell you that she's not only my friend, she's your friend. And probably the one thing she is most committed to at this point is the fiscal integrity of this country. She has embraced Erskine Bowles' panel of recommendations to help put this country in a physically sound position. And I think it takes great courage to do that. And Kay, we're glad to have you here with us today. Thank you very much.